you right up front. The two things that we would do if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would think in terms of getting out ahead of it. And by that we mean allow the momentum to get going before you get too specifically focused on anything. So as you've been listening to us for a while, have you been? Because it has been our desire to help you to know the wholeness of who you are. We've been acknowledging that there is this non-physical part of you and this physical part of you. And for a while we said that non-physical part of you is in your vortex with all of the things that you've asked for. All of your expansion and evolution is there. And so we said, get in the vortex. And you said, where's the door? I would like to get in, but I don't know how to get in. And we said, well, it's a vibrational frequency. Today, what we are saying that is easier for you to hear is that the frequency of who you really are is a very high, pure, because it is resistance-free frequency. And you are somewhere in the vicinity of it, maybe far from it because you've got a lot of resistance, or maybe closer to it. So we encourage you to find some way of lowering your resistance, because when your resistance is lower, your vibration is higher. So we encourage you to meditate. That really is the surefire way. When you quiet your mind, you stop thought. When you stop thought, you stop resistance. When you stop resistance, your vibration rises. When your vibration rises, you're right there in the frequency where your inner being is. And that's when, because you're on the same wavelength, not on a different frequency, but the same wavelength, what your inner being knows about what you want and where you are in relationship to what you want, your inner being then just offers these logical thoughts about what you might do next, not to move directly to what you want, but for the pleasure of experiencing firsthand in your human form the evolution of your own desire. Isn't that a wonderful thing? To be in on watching the evolution? Sometimes humans, you think that what you want is to say, I want it, and then boom, you want it to be done. And we say, you really do want to enjoy the journey. And you say, no, we don't. We just want to get there. No, you really do want to enjoy the journey. No, we just want to get there. And we say, no, you really do. You want to enjoy the journey. And the reason you want to enjoy the journey, the reason we want you to enjoy the journey, the reason we want you to understand that you want to enjoy the journey is because you're not ever going to get it done. And if it needs to be done before you start enjoying it, then you're always going to be in a state of dissatisfaction. Your journey's never going to feel good, and you're never really going to get to the places that you really want to be. Doesn't that make sense to you? But if you're looking for the pleasure in this moment, so you've meditated, you've quieted your mind, you've allowed your vibration to rise, and you're getting these impulses, thoughts coming across your mind. Esther sits to meditate these days. And she writes, she will segment in 10. She will say, in this segment of my experience, my intention is to release my resistance and allow my vibration to rise. And then her new words are, and watch the movie if it happens. Not create a movie, not make demands or requests of the universe. To quiet my mind, allow my vibration to rise, and then watch the movie that my inner being is already watching, that now I can see because I'm not in any state of resistance. How about that? And then often just wonderful, pleasant thoughts come across her mind. Ideas of things that she wants to act on now. Sometimes it's just pleasant things. At first she thought, shouldn't I be using this time more effectively? Shouldn't I be saving the world or doing something really constructive? It took us a while to convince her, if she will allow herself the pleasure of that movie, the pleasure. Why am I receiving this? For the pleasure of it. But what should I do with it? Oh, that's when it goes south. When you allow yourself to watch it, to feel it, sometimes it's a storyline that comes through her mind. Sometimes it's actual visuals that she sees. Sometimes it's more exciting than others when she thinks about it later. The awesome pleasure of non-resistant thought. So that's the first thing that we would be doing every day. We would set aside 15 or 20 minutes to watch the movie. That's really getting out ahead of it. That's really practicing step 3. That's mastering step 4. That's putting yourself in the place of the receiving mode of all the things that all you've lived has caused you to identify that you would like to participate in. Then the other thing that we would do is segment by segment, we'd get a little more specific. In this segment, as I'm getting into my vehicle, or as I'm getting onto my vehicle, as I'm making my way from one place to another, these are my intentions. I want to feel really happy. I want to feel the enthusiasm of other people. I want to feel my own clarity and stability. I want to feel my clarity. That's such a wonderful intention. I want to notice things that matter. I want to have a joyful experience. I want to feel the pleasure of being alive right here and now. And you can even be more specific. I want to travel on routes that are open and flowing, and I want to have conversations with people that are meaningful and fun. You can be as specific as you want to be once you're aware that you're in that non-resisted place, you see. And the combination of a daily meditation and a frequent segment by segment getting more specific will hold you in more and more moments of pleasure. And what could be better than living happily ever after? Being happy now. But Abraham, there are bad things going on in the world and in my life experience. What's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with where you're going? You already used that as your reason for launching a rocket of going someplace else. Now let yourself go. Stop looking back, you see. As something is happening, you can like it or not like it. And sometimes you'll step in to an avalanche of energy that you didn't see coming and that you weren't out ahead of. And sometimes it'll knock you over and it'll feel real bad, but it won't last. And as you know that, then just keep looking for more opportunities to have more delightful moments. And people will find you weird at first because you won't be responding appropriately. Someone will say, did you know so-and-so died? And you'll say, really? Really? You know someone lost their fortune? Excellent opportunity. What do you mean? Oh, I don't think you're ready to hear this. They've launched so many rockets of desire that are going to serve them so well for so long and gives them an opportunity. Now the cooperating components are all being gathered, and all they got to do is get over not feeling tragic about the money that they've lost and get in vibrational, too much too soon, because they'll just think you're crazy because you're not facing reality. And maybe you have a reality that you want to keep facing. We know for sure that much of your current reality is really worth keeping going because it's wonderful. But we also know that there is so much that you have put into your vortex that you must move toward if you are to feel the satisfaction of your life experience. Because satisfaction comes from only one place only. Satisfaction comes only from having a desire and moving in the direction of it. And we know for sure you've got lots of desires going on. So it's up to you whether you move toward it or away from it. But once you get the hang of this, then you'll practice that muscle. And more you'll feel good more and more. And the better it gets, 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 the better. It's going to take a while. The better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. When you accept that there is what you want to call future, which we call a now reality that it's already been gathered, and you understand that in order for you to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, in order to do that, you've got to find the vibrational frequency of it until it begins to come into focus, which means you've got to be willing to feel the pleasure of it even before you see it. And that's the thing that is the most difficult for humans, because you are much more accustomed to responding to what you're observing with your physical senses than you are, and here's the key, to what you're observing with your emotions. So by reaching for the pleasure of this moment and this moment and this moment, you tune yourself to this future experience. You call it future, we call it a done deal. You tune yourself to it so that it can begin flowing into your experience. This is a good way of looking at this. So as people in groups like this are watching Esther in her physical body, allowing the consciousness of this collective consciousness of the teachers of Abraham to flow through her, to some who maybe are new to it or reluctant to follow the premise that there is a non-physical source that is feeding information to her that she's translating vibrationally, to some of them, this just looks like someone who's pretty sure about what she's talking about, maybe very practiced in her words, who is presenting yet just another opinion that if people are smart, they will just take it or leave it. In other words, it's just yet another opinion of so many oppressing opinions that people are trying to force feed you. In other words, it's just so many words. But if you feel some resonance in some of what you hear here, and you have found a way to tune to this higher frequency of who you really are, so that the thoughts are flowing easily into your mind because there's no resistance keeping them out of your mind. You've got your valve open and they're flowing in. And you receive an idea, maybe not earth-shattering, maybe not like writing on a wall, but something that just feels like an interesting thing that you might want to do. And so you follow through with that impulse, and that impulse leads to something, then leads to something. And you show yourself that by being tuned in, you received an impulse, and that impulse was pure guidance, and you moved rather swiftly toward the unfolding of things that you want. Now your own experience has shown you how this universe works. The reason that so many people don't remember or don't know it more efficiently right now is because they don't have control of their own thoughts. And the reason they don't have control of their own thoughts is because they're wanting to do their observing. They're observing of the things they can see and hear and smell and taste and touch rather than observing what they're feeling. And so when you decide that you're going to feel your way into the frequency of your vortex, and then once you're in the frequency of your vortex, then what's already being revealed to you can be realized by you. It's the realization of it that you've got to get yourself queued up for. The consciousness is raining down around you. The blessings are raining down all around you. The opportunities are being shown to you constantly. But, don't you sometimes find yourself talking to people who aren't listening, your children mostly, conveying something with great specific, and they miss it altogether. They just didn't hear it because they can't hear everything that you're saying because they're not really on your wavelength. Your wavelength is, I have some things I would like to impart to you that would make your life go better, or maybe even make our life go better. I'm looking for cooperative components in this group of people, children or employees or whoever they are. And what they're hearing is blah, 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 as they're not on the wavelength with you. And so the same thing happens. You've got to get yourself tuned to this frequency, and then those impulses come to you, and that's how you see what you want to call future. But the thing is, it won't stay future very long because you're going to feel it in the moment. And the more moments that you're feeling it, in every moment that you feel it, a piece of it's going to be realized by you. Not revealed to you. It's already revealed to you. But there's a big difference between it being revealed and you receiving what's being revealed. Oh, you'll get so good at this. You'll get so that you will so look forward to those few minutes when you deliberately quiet your mind so that you can watch the movie for the pleasure of it. Not because you're trying to make something happen or fix something that's broken, for the pleasure of that alignment with who you really are. Sometimes when it really gets good, after you've practiced this alignment and have experienced it often, sometimes you will feel an impulse to move right into something that formerly you would have thought you should avoid. But it's so meaty in there. And in that, what you formerly would have called a contrasting moment that you could have done without, now you're in step 5, where you realize there's clarification in this uncomfortable moment. And as you witness rockets of desire being born right before your eyes, you don't feel resentful about what happened, or unhappy about what happened, or guilty about what happened. Instead, you acknowledge you were being guided by your source energy into something that you thought was a problem, that was full of a question, that brought a solution, that was evolution that you've been asking for.